So this is my final week of cutting, where you can see the end of week 5 there, with this quick and dirty fat loss method, or my getting shredded, as I've put it. Obviously, not shredded, not competition lean, but I've definitely got myself down to in and around 10%, may even be probably right on the cusp of 10% at the end of this week, which is actually the end of week 5. So I've just completed my 6 weeks, and this will be me, the end, dieting for quite a while. And as I've already said, the whole point of this is to stay in and around 10 to 15% body fat. Once I hit that 15% body fat, I come back down, diet down to about 10%, and then gain back up very slowly. And the reason for staying in and around 10 to 15% body fat is to kind of make sure to make the most out of my off season. And because when you're in and around 10 to 15% body fat, when you gain weight, you're more likely to gain muscle over fat. So long as you've got your training correctly in place, you're really making sure to make sure it's progressive, it's hypertrophy related, getting in plenty of volume, making sure to get all that stuff done, making sure that your food is sufficient to provide just a big enough for calorie surplus to gain that muscle, but not so large that you're going to gain a ton of fat with it. So normally for most people, that's 200 to 300 calories extra on top of their maintenance intake. So that is a really, really clever approach to take, and that's exactly the approach I take in my off seasons. That's exactly the approach I take with my clients, and that's the exact approach that is in my ebook, Get Big, Stay Lean, that you can get at revivestronger.com. And I've really, really enjoyed this off season, built my calories up nice and high, and then tiny, little, short, quick and fat, dirty fat loss. Obviously, over this time, I love pizza, and I keep this fat loss period very flexible. Every single weekend, I haven't cheated, I haven't binged, but I have fit a pizza within my macros. Absolutely love the pizzas at Pizza East. I was here with a mate, he had a beer. I obviously did not, because it's not worth the macros, in my opinion, during this calorie deficit. After that, we did go for a coffee. Cafe Nero is my favorite place. He again got us a nice, like, high calorie one. I just got a skinny cappuccino, but I love it. It's absolutely delicious and it keeps me going, and it was a good day. So my lovely girlfriend has cooked us up a roast. So she's vegetarian, so she's got a nice mushroom there, and I've got, I think it's 250 grams of Maris Piper potatoes. They're roasted, but just 2 grams of fat, or 18 sprays of kind of our homemade 1 cal spray. And then got some roasted veggies, 200 grams carrots, cauliflower, broccoli, and I've got 200 grams of chicken. And that is it. And I'm going to have some of this gravy, which is only about 20 calories or something. So you can still have a roast on a diet. This isn't that many calories. You could easily drop those potatoes, and it would be a really, really kind of healthy meal either way, but it would be lower carb, lower calorie. So let's just take a look at my training. I've actually now moved into a strength block after 15 weeks of hypertrophy and just coming to the end of my calorie deficit. I was happy to lower my volume and focus on gaining some strength. So I am doing an actual flat barbell bench press, which I haven't done for a while, and this is full on competition mode. So this is with a pause at the bottom and really focusing on getting that leg drive. I'm pretty happy with these. It did feel really strange going from lifting so high in terms of reps to so low, and the load was quite different, especially for back squats. Because I have been back squatting, but not competition barbell back squats with all the gear. So it was quite interesting, and I have gone back to using my Romaleos because I tried flat shoes for a while and it just didn't agree with me. I haven't got massively long thigh bones, so I don't really need an excessively wide stance. I kind of like a mid kind of shoulder width stance with a low bar position. I feel strong in this, but it did take some adjusting to get used to kind of coming into using such a heavy load on my back. It was just quite different to what I'm used to, not using kind of an excessive DUP approach where I do hypertrophy and strength in 1 week. So we'll see how my progress goes from here. Overall, quite happy with my form on there. Did come slightly onto my toes, which I am working on. Here's a new one for you, and a new one for me is a JM press. very, very good at hitting an area in the tricep I've never ever hit before, or haven't for a very long time at least. And it's kind of just in the mid tricep, not really long head, not short head. But this is essentially you're coming down as if you're going to bench press, but then you're kind of extending at the elbow, doing a sort of skull crusher type movement. These are really, really good accessory movement for the triceps, accessory movement for the bench press. I definitely recommend you try those out. You have to use quite a low weight though. And again, back into competition mode. So I am comp deadlifting, sumo style, because I've decided this is going to be the lift for me. Just because kind of am enjoying it and have enjoyed pulling sumo ever since I started it. It used to cause me a little snag on my knee, but ever since I've kind of got rid of that, it's been alright. I do notice my back is actually fairly neutral. I would like it to be a bit more neutral. I know if I keep it rounded and I attempt it rounded, that's fine, but I want to kind of pull with a neutral spine if I can. Just working on form in general on all these competition lifts because it's been so long. And then this is a new one again for me, and this is squatting to pins, and these pins are placed at depth, so it's essentially taking out that stretch reflex completely, working out of the hole, really pressing through. And these were interesting, force you to really think about getting your form right, and then sitting into it and pushing through was tough. This weight was a little too heavy, so I lightened it for my next loads and will through the rest of my block. But overall, pretty happy with it. It was a good one to try, and I think it's going to really pay dividend throughout. Another new one for me, and a new one hopefully for you to maybe take away, is the EZ bar row. Really find this great at hitting the lats. I've got a supinated grip here, so not over the top, it's underhand, and I've really felt that in my lats. So finally, I just thought I'd show you what I am looking like at the end of this week, week 6. And this is under some decent lighting as opposed to poor lighting, which you're about to see where I started out. But you can definitely see there's some major improvements in 6 weeks, major improvements. I'm now sitting just over 10 pounds, well actually around 10 pounds over stage weight, if that. So pretty damn lean, and I'd say looking to be in around that 10% body fat, which is ideal. I really like sitting around this percentage of body fat. I feel good. I feel that I look good as well. Not that I'm particularly doing it for that reason. Like I said, I'm doing it because from here I can then practice a good 6 month lean bulk where I gain 1 to 2 pounds a month, really focusing on just gaining muscle mass as opposed to any fat coming on. And this also allows kind of me to prolong my gaining phases, which is brilliant, so I don't have to keep cutting. The longer you're cutting, you have to realize the longer you're not gaining. So if you can cut fat really efficiently, really quickly, like I have here, this quick and dirty fat loss method, then you can go back to gaining muscle, which is exactly what you want to be doing most of the time. But if you can do that within this 10 to 15% body fat range, you're more efficiently gaining muscle mass. So this is all about efficient bodybuilding here, sticking within that 10 to 15% body fat and making sure to have long bulking periods, long and slow bulking periods where you're just gaining lean mass. So then you have short and fast fat loss periods. That is what this quick and dirty fat loss method is all about. I'm really happy with the position I'm in, and I'm happy with the position going forward. So cheers guys, and revive stronger.